Do you believe in manifestation? When you look back over your life, can you pinpoint a time when you spoke about something, you wished upon something, you thought in your mind about something, or even had a conversation, and later on, it actually came to pass? Now, you may not have associated this all with manifestation, but think back. Think back when you actually had a dream, back when you were a little child, or as a teenager, a young adult. And then years later, something came to pass and you didn't realize it was something that you thought about in your past. But when you pause and step back and reflect about your life, I'm sure you can think of something that you've thought about it and you manifested. Our thoughts and our words are very powerful. Words can lift us up and words can also tear us down. And that's both our own words to ourselves and when people speak upon us as well. Now, in Buddhism, it's taught that we cause our own suffering. Sometimes put ourselves in situations that we shouldn't be in, and it causes our suffering. We eat the wrong types of food, and later on it affects us. It affects our health. Cause and effect. What you put out there comes back to you. Put bad things out there, bad things are returned. But if you put good out there, good will also return. So you gotta really be careful about what you're saying to yourself and what you believe in your thoughts. What we think, it truly shapes what happens in our future. Early retirement may seem like an impossible feat, but the truth is we define what early retirement looks like for us. When are we going to retire? 50, 55, 60, 65? We get to decide that. Are we going to work part-time? Are we going to travel? How long are we going to travel for? These are things that we can determine for ourselves. You know, it starts with intentions and a belief about our future. We don't have to make a big move. We can just do small, simple steps along the way, simple changes. Maybe you feel like everything that you have right now is great. You're in a great position, and this is where you want to be in life. But life changes over time, and we can always make small little tweaks to improve something in our lives. I wanted to talk about this subject because I recently had a couple of opportunities that actually have manifested in my life. Now, one of those opportunities I spoke about on one of my videos, and another one I thought about during my planning process when I went to the mountains the beginning of the year. And I thought about something, I did some research about it, and I just left it alone. But two of those things that I either planned, spoke about, thought about, has actually manifested in my life. Now, I'm going to share those two things with you later on in this video. I first want to talk about 3 ways you can practice manifestation. So let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Just Lovely Living. My name is Tanya, and on this channel, I am sharing my journey towards early retirement to do some slow traveling. And my hope is to inspire other women who are over 50 to do the same by leaving their 9-to-5 to do some meaningful, slow travel. And with some strategic planning, some practical tools, and a community like we're building right here on this channel so that we can live life on our own terms. So let's get started with the 3 ways that you can practice manifestation. First one is going to be get crystal clear with your vision with your early retirement plans. Number 2 is align daily with actions with your life calling in it. So do things on a daily basis that's going to push you towards your future goals of early retirement. And number 3, you want to speak and think from the future that you are creating. You don't want to say, I think I will, or possibility, I am going to retire early. Now, it's something that you don't have to do overnight. You don't have to quit your job overnight and make this big old move for early retirement. Just start planning it out. How would you like for it to look? How many hours do you want to work? What kind of work do you think you might want to do if you don't want to do your current 9 to 5? Do you want to work 4 hours a day, 2 hours a day? So you got to start thinking about that and start putting it into action. Define what early retirement looks like to you. 50, 55, 60, 65. How soon are you going to retire? And let's not always think about the money as well. We may not have all the money that we need, but if we can start the planning process and find some alternatives to not having all the money that we need for retirement. So we may need to work 4 hours a day to cover some of our expenses. But then if we have some savings, we can start tapping into some of that savings. So we got to kind of work around some of the issues that we may be facing currently with planning and starting our early retirement. Write down what early retirement looks like to you. When you want to wake up, what do you want to do? What are the activities you may want to do as well? Some of your hobbies. You might want to tap into community centers that you may want to be involved in. Start looking at these different puzzle pieces. And trust me, when you start thinking about some of these things, those puzzle pieces are going to come together and formulate an action plan just for you. Most important thing is you must start somewhere with your planning. Align your daily activities with the life that you're calling in. You're calling in something to manifest in your life. Manifesting is not just thinking about it. You must take action along with your thoughts as well. So you want to audit your spending. If you're trying to save money for retirement, you got your timeline. Start auditing what you're spending now. I had an eye-opening moment in November. I start tracking all of my expenses, especially what I was eating out. And so I had my total in November, and in December, that amount actually went up. So this month in January, I made a decision. I'm definitely cutting my spending, eating out spending, in half at least. So what I've been doing is counting each day that I'm not spending anything. So it's a no spend day. So I'm doing pretty good actually. So out of the 7 days, at least 4 days out of those 7 days, I'm not spending anything. And I'm also including my bills. So if there's a day that I pay a bill, that's not considered a no spend day. What that does is help me pay all these bills that are due this time frame on this day, so that I can have more of those days that are no spend days. So begin practicing the life that you want to live in the future. Start practicing it now. And I know I've talked about this in my other videos as well, how I'm practicing my early retirement, right? Doing some short trips of solo traveling, going to some coffee shops while I work from time to time, but doing some of the activities now that I would like to do when I'm retiring. Get in the habit. You want to create that habit of retirement. So when you get in retirement, you'll know what to do and how your day is going to be laid out. There are some people who retire, they get bored, they don't know what to do with themselves, and they're thinking about it after the fact that they have retired. But to be able to do this process prior to is going to help you when you actually do retire. And make small financial shifts, whether that's downsizing, we talked about that, We've also talked about reducing our expenses, right? And intentionally saving. I I can't believe how much I've saved over the past 6 months, and how that money has started to accumulate to say, okay, I got a nice little savings now, and I can start doing some of the things that I've been wanting to do around the house, to fix, to potentially maybe rent out as Airbnb, and some other options as well. Third thing is to speak and think from the future that you are creating. So how do you do that? You never want to say it's too late, because it's never too late, right? You are always on time, no matter what stage of life that you're in, no matter what happens and when it happens. We are on time. So these are 3 steps that you can use to practice manifestation. Number 1, be crystal clear of your vision for early retirement. And so number 2 is to align your actions with what you're calling into your life, doing those things that you want to do when you retire. Number 3 is to speak and think the future that you are calling. So let me tell you what has happened to me over the past couple of weeks, and how I manifest 2 of the things that I've spoke into existence for my life. In one of my videos, I had mentioned that I had traveled to Puerto Rico, and I felt like Puerto Rico was my home away from home, because I've been there so many times and I would love to go back. Well, I recently got a message from one of my veterans sisters who is celebrating a big birthday, 70th birthday. And she invited myself and another veteran sister that is here in the Atlanta area for us to join her on that trip. It's a cruise. And so that cruise leaves out of Puerto Rico and it comes back into Puerto Rico. There's like 5 different destinations that we're going to be stopping on the cruise. But the fact that I'll be flying into Puerto Rico, headed back to where I said I wanted to go, I just remember that, and to sit here and say, yes, I manifest that, because I said I wanted to go back to Puerto Rico. Now, I would love to stay for a longer time versus just flying in and flying back. But just the fact that I'll be in Puerto Rico, because that's where I wanted to go back. The second one that I have manifested, when I was planning or continuing to plan for my year while I was up in the mountains the first week of January, I was telling myself that I wanted to go on a personal retreat, a wellness retreat. So I started looking online at different retreats internationally, and they can be pretty pricey because you're paying for the flight, you're paying for your room and all the activities that are involved in that retreat. And then who's ever providing those services, that's an additional fee. So I was thinking like, oh, this may not happen because it's so expensive. But the alternative to that thought is, how can I create my own retreat? So another veteran from my current job said that he was on a conference call about a wellness tour for veterans. And they do a webinar every Tuesday night. And so he passed on the information to me. And so I looked it up. It is a wellness tour that happens every week in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And I was like, oh, wow, perfect timing, because I was just trying to figure out how was I going to create my own wellness retreat. So the great thing about this trip, a majority of the trip is going to be paid for. So we go, we get medical attention based upon whatever disabilities that we have. And all you would have to do, or all I need to do, is to schedule my flight. So that trip has been booked. And I've also booked the flight for Puerto Rico and for the cruise. So those are 2 trips. The first one is going to be a solo trip of mine. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited of how it came about, that you can truly manifest the things that you desire to do for your future. But it's not just thinking about it. It is definitely working towards it. So my action towards my wellness retreat, I start to do the research. I start to figure out, well, if I can't do this with a group, how can I do this on my own? Make it a little bit cheaper, go to a secluded place and create my own retreat. And lo and behold, it has happened for me. So never count yourself out on your future dreams. If you want to retire early, take those steps now. Small, simple steps. Just get started. My free resource that's available to you, 5 simple steps to starting a goal. I'm going to leave all that information in the description down below so you can tap into that. It's going to walk you through how to get started on your first goal, because the hardest thing is always getting started. But as soon as you can get started, you can build that momentum to take another step and another step at a time until you accomplish all the goals, all the things that you want to create for your future. So I thank you all for joining me. I want to thank all of my new subscribers. I did get some new subscribers over the past couple of weeks. I want to thank you for joining this community. I want to hear in the comments, what are you looking forward to? What have you manifested in your life? What are some of the thoughts that you had? Some of the things that you've written down? Have you done a vision board and maybe something has manifested from your vision board? I want to hear those comments down below. It's something that really excites me to see how you can think a thing, take action on a thing, and it actually happens. So I want to hear your comments down below. And please share the video, because other people, I want them to join in to see what they have manifested, and also some of the things that they would like to manifest for their future as well. So I thank you all for joining me. Have a lovely day.